I would like to be a little bit brave, bold and crazy and start, because you get so inspired when you see all these people and listening to Soraya. So Soraya, I hope this is fine with you. I would like to launch a competition because, thank you, because what you said, Soraya, was that it's so important to meet new people and connect, and that we have a great opportunity here. So I think let's start a competition, if that is okay with you. And tomorrow, unfortunately, I will not be here. But Soraya, if you can take a picture when you ask the question, how many have met more than 3 new people? Is that okay with you? Great. And I see someone have already met 3, so maybe we need to increase the target to 5. I don't know. And I have met the most important person here today. Maybe she is sleeping right now, but she is watching us. And that is Alice, 6 months, with her mom here. So I think we are watched by the new generation. 6-month baby, the most important person here today. Okay, so who am I? Marie Carlsson, working for Volvo Bus, which is a part of AB Volvo. And I'm driving business solution for city transport. Maybe some of you know Volvo Group, but we are a true global company with over 100,000 employees, production in 18 countries, and activities on 190 markets. And you know, we have been a diesel company, and now we need to change. So not just the world outside is changing, but also internally, we need to think differently. Our mission is driving prosperity through transport solution. So what does this mean? Well, it means like we would like to be part of the transport solution, both for goods and passenger people. And today I will focus on passenger. I would like to show you a small film. It's not so much about the bus as the context we are into today.
When looking at the future, it seems full of challenges. At Volvo, we approach them by focusing on the opportunities. Because we believe we can make a difference in society, here and now. We want to help cities in their transformation towards zero cities, and by that, improve quality of life for people. How? With a complete e-mobility solution, highly efficient electric buses, and a wide portfolio of services, developed and configured together with each city that is ready to go. And we simply strive to provide more zeros than anyone else. Just imagine what this could mean for you and your city. 0 emissions, 0 noise, 0 congestion, 0 accidents. Or how about just creating 0 zones, where you decide how fast, when, and where a bus can go, or not go. Connected, automated, adapting to the surroundings. A friendly electric bus network designed for people, by people, bringing completely new opportunities to your city. So go beyond the challenges. Focus on the opportunities and imagine the amazing things we can do together. After all, the future is in your hands. Let's take it on together.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. Let it all go now. We're right away.
So this is the context we're working on. It's not just about the bus anymore. It's about changing cities, as we have listened to many people here today. And we are delivering solutions to public transport and also to support urban planning. And I have heard many times quality of life here today, and that's our company tag, so I continue to repeat it. This is really what we are working for, and why I like to work at Volvo Bus. We would like to create a nice place for citizens And here you can enjoy a cup of coffee or have a moment with a friend, even when a bus is passing by. Maybe some of us would like to be at this place, or close to a lake and in a forest. But many people are living in cities, and more people will move into the cities. So it's very, very important that we create oases also in urban environment and have a healthy place to live in. Unfortunately, many cities looks like these. And every city is, of course, unique. It depends if it's small, if it's big, and also where it's geographically placed. But we can say that all cities are having the top priority of mobility and transportation. And having these challenges, pollution, high noise level, people moving into the cities, also scarcity when it comes to space and resources, something has to be done to get into a more brighter picture. And here we at Volvo Bus strive to be part of this journey, to share our knowledge and to share our experience and our solutions with new technology, to give the citizens a more valuable city to live in, like less congestion, like less noise reduction, and improve public health due to better air quality. So there is a lot of win-win here. And what are the solutions? Well, I will talk about some of them today. Cooperation is, of course, number one, that we have heard so much today, and we need to repeat it. We need to join cities, regions, non-governmental organizations, industry like myself and academia to come together and find solution in the new technology. That's our only way to succeed. And I really would like to congratulate Helsingborg to start up this initiative, because this is all what it is about, cooperation for a smarter and better place to live. We are working with 3 different technologies, and we call them disruptive technologies. We have electromobility, connectivity, and autonomous drive. So let's start with the electromobility. If we compare an engine, a diesel traditional engine, to an electric motor, the electric motor is 4 times more efficient when it comes to using energy. And using energy, as you know, is very, very important, that we use the right energy on the right spot. And for a bus to be electric, that's really a benefit of energy efficiency. Having an electric bus, you will also be able to reduce the emission and the noise level, which both have a high impact on us as citizens. And what you will more be able to do, it is to bring in a bus into a library. So the electric bus open up public transport roads. The bus will be able to find roads it hasn't been able to do before due to noise and emission. So what's this? A nice picture of a city with a blue zone. Well, looking into connectivity, and I heard the former speaking about connectivity as well, it's a big change being able to connect the bus to a computer off-board, so to say. And this case I will explain for you is what we call safety zone. And we see more and more cities that focus on safety as number 1 target for a city. And what we do is that we have a layer using geofencing on a certain area where there is a lot of people moving around, and we set a speed limitation. So when the driver goes into this area, it will not be able to drive more than what is decided, for example, 10 kilometers per hour. Then we thought in the beginning, doing this in Gothenburg, that the driver would feel that they will not have control of the vehicle. But they are so happy because they can look on the people moving around instead of looking to the speedometer. So it has really been a success and a win-win situation with more relaxed driver and a safer environment for the people outside the bus. Okay, so what about autonomous? Some years ago, it was a lot of discussion about autonomous, and I think we almost thought that, okay, next year it will come. What we believe is that to see a full size in public transport, that will take a while. We concentrate more on confined areas and controlled areas like harbor, goods terminal, or a bus depot. And we believe that the introduction of autonomous drive will probably be at a higher speed in these confined areas and also to a higher degree of autonomous. We are into a lot of projects when it comes to autonomous. It's about bus stop docking, it's about bus train, and it's to drive autonomous in a depot. And just stop a little bit at this bus stop docking. What can that give as a value for us as a passenger? Well, the bus will stop at a certain position every time it comes to this bus stop. So what happens is that the driver hand over the parking, and maybe some of you have the cars with the same feature on. So the bus is taking care of the parking, meaning that it will come to the same position every time. And it will be a safer exiting and on board for passengers. Looking into depot and autonomous, I have a film here to show you how it can look like. And it's not far away. It's just to find out the values and also to find out customers who would like to try this. And we will soon have a launch of a depot try in Gothenburg, so you can get more information. But let's look into this film. Okay, so the bus driver of a bus comes to the depot, hand over the bus to the vehicle itself, and then in the morning, the bus come and pick up the driver. And there is a lot of value into this for a depot. Well, so we have been talking about 3 disruptive technologies that will support urban planning and public transport. And then if we talk a little bit about the bus as well, here we can see that, yes, compare a bus with a lot of vehicle, we all know that it's a better way of traveling with a bus. I know that here in Helsingborg, you have something called bus rapid transport system. And that means that you get even more efficiency out of a bus. You put a bus into a bus rapid transport system that is a dedicated line for the bus. Could be different degrees. In South America, you see a lot of, they are really in a confined area, but you can also have confined lines that will be crossed by cars as well. And I think that is maybe the case in Helsingborg. You also have special designed bus stop, so you will get on and off easily and fast. An investment for doing a bus rapid transport system has a good payoff for a city, instead of maybe have a tram like we have in Gothenburg. So with this toolbox, electromobility, autonomous, connectivity, and longer buses, and maybe also confined lines for buses, we could start to create our zero city with the ambition to work towards zero emission, zero noise, zero accident, and zero congestions. And this will be much more than just reduce emission. When we talk electric, we talk often about the air quality, but it gives so much more. Of course, it improves public health, as we talk about also noise reduction, but it will be a more attractive public transport. I met a driver driving electric bus. They are green in Gothenburg, and then the other ones are blue. And she told me, you know, when I come to a bus stop and there is a blue bus before me and I know that we will go the same way into the city center, I can see that people, a green bus, I wait and take that. So it also come out that we will make public transport more attractive. And of course also a more responsibility when it comes to social funding. And yes, for a city, driving quality of life, going full electric, that many and more cities are coming into. But we do not stop here. We also would like to take care of the batteries in the electric bus. In a bus, it could have, depending on how the bus is used, between 4 and 8 years of lifetime. But when it ends the bus life, it's still alive and it still have capacity to do another work, to do another life. And we are into a project with Gothenburg Energy, Riksbyggen, and Johannesburg Science Park. It's a cross-functional research project, which is a part of a much bigger project that Riksbyggen is driving, and that's about positive housing footprint. But this smaller is about taking care of energy from the solar panel. So here you can see on the roof, it's 132 apartments in Gothenburg, and they have solar panel on the roof, and then they have our used bus batteries in the battery room. So the aim of this is, of course, that the people living in the house should be able to have control of their energy bill. So when their solar energy is produced, it will be stored in the batteries. But if they have an overcapacity of their own solar energy, they can sell that to Gothenburg Energy. Or if they find a cheap price on green energy on the grid, they can also buy and store. And you are more than welcome to come to Gothenburg and visit this house. And I think it's the most innovative house in Sweden when it comes to sustainable living. So very interesting, not just the battery room. Okay, so to sum up a little bit. Well, we have been talking about quality of life. And what does that mean for a city to use electromobility, connectivity, autonomous, and also BRT lines? Well, the air will be cleaner, that's no doubt about that, and the traffic noise will be lower. And I think the traffic noise hasn't been talked so much about, but we are also doing some research with university. There we see the impact of a line having a diesel engine before and now going into electric. And you can ask the neighbor living on this line that they are really happy because they can sit on the balcony a sunny day and enjoy without a diesel engine outside. And of course, as we said before, we can extend the public transport. We can bring in the bus closer to the citizen. And we can also, with a new technique, improve safety for all road users. And the most important, maybe, responsible use of energy in these climate days. And in the end, I think all mayors I have met, they would like to have a city to be proud of and present for their people. So we're coming to the end, and I hope you have got some insight what we can do together with new technology. And if you should remember one picture, I think it's this library bus stop. And why that? Well, we have been talking about sharing knowledge, experience, and that I think what this library is symbol for, sharing knowledge and experience. And then we should also be a little brave, bold, and crazy. And I think to bring in a bus into a library, that was something no one had thought about before, but now it's possible. And we also have other indoor bus stops in Gothenburg. So even if this was just done for an event, there is also a stationary one without a library, but with a coffee place instead. So with that said, I think we should embrace the change together for a better future. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for that. Fascinating, deeply fascinating. And when you talk, you make it sound quite easy. And you talk about your toolbox in terms of connectivity, etc. But I assume that the heart of this is where public meets private. Talk to us about the toolbox you need to use when public meets private.
Well, a very good question and a very difficult one in a way as well, because it is exactly what you say. But I mean, if we should be successful in the future, we need to come together.
As we will be successful in the future.
As we will be. Then we need to come together, and we need also to start to see from our different perspective and try to understand each other. And I think sometimes that's the human's most difficult thing. So everyone needs to reflect, how am I a better listener? And I think in projects where we are involved, it's also about having an attitude that you really would like to learn something from other people. So I think that is the most important, to bring this together. Then you have, of course, a lot of principle, rules, etc. to follow, but...
Yeah, there's lots of processes.
Yes.
But listening and learning would be your key tools. I will take that with me. And again, I think that's a great tweet from Volvo. But in terms of the public meets private, do you have any examples that you'd like to share of what's worked?
We have an example called Electricity in Gothenburg. And that is also, we get a lot of guests from other companies and also from other countries and mayors and politicians. And I think that is also something that Sweden is very good in cooperation. And we sometimes, other colleagues of mine, not Swedes, say, yeah, you know, you always would like to come to this consensus. And sometimes it's not good, but sometimes it is good. And this electricity has really been where we have discussed a lot and look into different perspective. And the result is that we have an electric line, we have this Viva housing project, well, a lot of projects. So yeah, we have examples. And that's also what people from other countries are very interesting to understand.
And I think, to echo what you said before, consensus doesn't just happen. There's listening and learning first, and then you potentially reach a consensus. I was thinking about, we were talking about the grid and energy. What are the challenges there infrastructurally? Because I assume that there are, in theory, quite a lot of low-hanging fruit, but we sit with a legacy of infrastructure.
Yeah, you mean for the grid and power?
All of these changes.
Yeah, and I mean...
mental legacy as well as real legacy.
Yeah. And I think today we say we should look everything from the positive side. And that is, of course, what we should do. But we should also understand the challenges and how we can overcome them. And for example, one thing is the power grid in many countries that is not efficient enough to go electric in the speed people would like to. So yeah, that's one obstacle that we need to find new solutions. But I can also see a lot of company. It happens, you know, 4 years ago we were quite alone as a European manufacturer to talk about electric buses. And it was more, what are you doing? Just 4 years ago. And today everyone have electric buses. And also what we see, and this is really fascinating, is that it's a new market. So, you know, when there is a new market, people think that there is a lot of money into this. So you see also a lot of different companies coming in with new business ideas. So it's really something, you know, going from a very traditional bus business into something completely new. And of course, as a Volvo company, we also need to think how we change internally.
Which was exactly my next question. How do you think organizationally, how have you changed throughout maybe these last 4 years to adapt to the new market?
Yes, we have. But if I could have a personal view of this, I believe that it's more about attitude and competencies and cooperation. I mean, we're used to have a chart and these decide over that. And I think we should see each other as dot that needs to get into networks.
Wait. You want us to see ourselves as a dot in a network? Okay,
yes.
Good.
Instead of having a hierarchic organization scheme, because I don't think that that will fly. So I think we are in movements, in changes, and let's see, in 10 years we can meet and see how the output has been.
I look forward to meeting you in 10 years. I will take with me, and all of us will, we will listen, learn, and be dots in the infrastructure. Yeah. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you.